So I decided it's time to make the boat a little more saltwater and cleaning friendly. So the carpet's coming out of the floor. It's going to stay on the sides and on the casting deck, but I got to get something in here that's easier to clean. As you can tell, it gets wet from the salt water and it gets quite nasty. Time for upgrades. Welcome back. We are finishing the paint booth for now. The bedliner looks great. It turned out amazing, way better than I thought it even would. I've used this before, but never quite this much on one project. So this is bedliner sprayed on, 2 or 3 coats of bedliner, followed by clear coat after the bedliner is cured, obviously. and it gives a nice, slick, easy to clean surface. The floor has sand sprinkled in underneath the bedliner, or sorry, underneath the clear coat rather, and that helps for some traction once the floor gets wet. So time to get it wheeled back in the garage and start reassembling. So next up on the project here, I've got my rod holders that I made. They're all covered in the bed liner, got them all ready to go. The last step is going to be to glue some felt onto the insides and probably just wrap it all the way around, kind of to protect the rods that it's going to be holding. So that's what I'm trying to do now. I've got some contact cement on here, just got to let it stick up and keep on cruising. So up on the front of the boat here and a few other places around the inside of the boat, I'm going to be using this. It's like a fake teak, off-brand sea deck, whatever you want to call it. Got it on Amazon. I've used it before. This is a different color than I used before, but I really like it. It's easy to cut. It's really easy to work with, and this is going to get on the front and then probably do it on the lid, and there's a few other small places on the boat that's going to get it too. So going to try to get that installed and move on to the trolling motor. So that really turned out pretty nice. This stuff's really easy to work with. It's easy to cut, and as you can tell, it looks really cool when it's all done. And it's cheap enough that once it's wore out, you can tear it off and put some fresh on. So finally got this on. Next up, the part that I'm really stoked about is going to be getting the new trolling motor mounted up. I've had this thing for a few weeks now, and I'm pretty stoked to get it mounted up, see what it all is going to look like. So yeah, next up, trolling motor. part of the boat build, I decided to make a jack plate just to get the motor up and back a little bit. And this is what I've come up with so far. So that'll allow me to go up, I think it's about 4.5 inches total, and then back down to neutral if I want to. So this piece I have to cut in half yet. These I had tacked together just to kind of hold them in place while I get all my holes and stuff drilled. So I'm going to get some plywood cut for the back here just to kind of thicken this up a little bit. And then I've got to get this cut, get a bunch of holes drilled, and get this baby on the back of the boat. We got to go. Got my basic layout here. This is where the engine's going to fasten to. This will be the slider plate that's on the boat. I still got to cut some of this off, but basically that'll be at 0, and I'll be able to go up I think about 4 inches. So I just got to get these lines marked, holes drilled, grinding and cutting, and all sorts of fun stuff. So far, I'm not sure if this is going to be 2 layers of plywood back here or just one. This is kind of what I've got. Probably going to angle this a little bit. But now that I've got all of my holes drilled, I'll show you this side. Don't mind the extra hole that gets cut out anyway. So now that the holes are good in the center, all I've got to do is take my cutting wheel, connect this hole to this hole, and hollow this out. And then on the back plate, do the exact opposite, connect this hole to this hole, and then once they're completely bolted in, this will be able to slide from top to bottom and give me about 4 or 5 inches of adjustment. So now comes the fun process of running a grinder for about an hour to try to get this all figured out. So yeah, stay tuned. Left over with is hopefully an adjustable jack plate. It's a little sticky, need some birds cleaned out of it. But that's the idea of it. We gotta go get it mocked up on the boat and get a few holes drilled. That's it. Probably about right there. Hoping, guessing. pretty cool. Pretty impressed with how that turned out. I've been wanting to put a jack plate on here for a long time. Just haven't had time to do it. Here we go. Man, that thing doesn't even budge. Sweet. Wow. That is pretty freaking cool. Wow, yeah, I don't even know what to say. That looks pretty cool. Might be a little bit too high. I won't know till I get it in the water. But fuel line, perfect. Extra slack maybe. This is the angle it was at. I'm gonna leave it there for now. If I gotta mess with the trim at all, but I think that should be solid where it's at right now. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Here's the finished product. Give you a little walk around of the boat. We got down here in Florida. We finally found some sunshine and finally get a chance to show you how everything turned out. Start with the jack plate. I went ahead and painted that black just because I knew the aluminum was going to end up corroding in all the salt water. So decided to go with black. Just kind of looks cool. I was able to run it all the way at the top mark, which is like 4.5 inches. And this thing runs great. It actually picked up like 2 miles an hour, which I wasn't even looking for, but better yet, I can get pretty shallow. It's pretty cool. This was an old tiller extension that I had. I cut off the short aluminum handle and fiberglass on just a piece of PVC and wrapped a handle for the front. The rear storage is pretty cool. I didn't have this before. Big watertight tote on this side. And obviously fuel tank on that side and lots of extra storage in the middle. And on the back, got a triple rod holder there and got 2 rod holders on that side. I took out the rod locker just because for one, it gives me a lot more space, and 2, less cavities for water to sit in. On this side, I've got the fly rod holder here. 5-gallon bucket. This is actually dry storage because I still got the live well in here, which is great even in salt water. The front's the same, just watertight totes here and here. Battery on this side, extra gallon of fuel in the front just in case. I did move the Humminbird. It used to be up front, but now I can see it a little bit better when I'm driving, and I can also switch it around and you can see it from the front. Put a little extra piece of this imitation sea deck or whatever you want to call it, so I can still strap down a few bait casters, go bass fishing if I want to. And obviously, new trolling motor. This thing is great. It works awesome. The spot lock is great. You get out there in the current and you just click the button and you stay put. I've got the foot pedal that goes with it. I've got it in the back right now just because I like the way the deck's nice and clean without it. On this side, here's the push-pull. This is kind of where this thing stays. Haven't got to use it yet, but there it is. So I really like the bedliner on here. It's way easier to clean. It needs cleaned right now, but it's way easier to clean than the carpet. You just get back, take a rag, wipe it down, and yeah, if you have to hose it down, the water just goes out the back, and it is awesome. In the back here, I've got a spot for GoPro stand, or a GoPro charging post, whatever you want to call it. I made one for there, and I've also got a place to plug it in up front. That's also for the navigation light at night, which I really never use. So yeah, there it is. It's all done. Really like it. Love the way it turned out. Got a few more things to do on it here and there, but that's pretty much it. Still got to strap the cooler down and maybe add some more of the sea deck up front here, but I really like the way it turned out. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. We'll see you on the water.